What's up everyone, Super Nerd Daniel here once again. Ever since Generation 1, evil teams and organizations have plagued the Pokemon world, doing all sorts of terrible things from stealing Pokemon to holding people hostage, and even trying to take over the world. And while most of us like to think we're the hero, there's no doubt we've at least once thought about what it'd be like to walk on the dark side, and since Birdkeeper Toby has once again done one of these put yourself in the Pokemon universe in a significant role videos, it's time for my big heel turn, as I tell you what it'd be like if I had an evil team in the Pokemon games. First of all, everything that would happen in a game with my team in it would take place in the Kalos region. It would actually build off some significant events from Pokemon Y specifically, because the team's endgame will revolve specifically around Xerneas, who was not involved with the events of Pokemon Y due to that game focusing on Yveltal instead. Throughout the region, you'll have to deal with the schemes of Team Reaper, a group of black-clad hooded Pokemon thieves that steal Pokemon from the wild and from trainers alike, with the intention of selling them on the black market. They're essentially Pokemon poachers, mainly stealing Pokemon that they believe will fetch a high price, either for the Pokemon as a whole, or maybe just for one specific part. Whoever reaps the highest profit. And if you're wondering about the gas masks, that's because their method of thievery involves a knockout gas that they call Reaper Dust, which is basically a concentrated mixture of spore and sleep powder, knocking out those in the immediate area so they can abscond with what they're after with ease. When you actually end up battling them, they'll typically put their party in Dusk Balls, and have Pokemon that can put you to sleep or inflict you with poison, so Pokemon from the Fungus, Krogan, Gastly, and Paras lines would be fairly common fodder for grunt teams. Also, Pokemon from the Duskull and Pawniard families would be fairly common among them too, to represent the whole Grim Reaper aesthetic for the team. Duskull obviously representing the Reaper himself, while Pawniard would be representative of the scythe that he's usually depicted as wielding. The first time you encounter some Team Reaper grunts, you'll find them attempting to steal some Slowpoke tails. You battle them and naturally defeat them, but one of them releases a dose of the Reaper Dust, putting you to sleep. The grunts attempt to steal your Pokemon as revenge, but one of the Kalos region's gym leaders, Viola, chases off the grunts, helping you shake off the effects and get back on your feet. She thanks you for helping the Slowpokes and tells you that these Team Reaper thugs have been popping up all over Kalos in the years since Team Flare dissolved. Having a lot of experience with the sleep powder the gas is made from due to her being an expert in bug-type Pokemon, she's been one of the most active people in helping keep them at bay. She then gives you a gas mask, a key item that keeps you from being put to sleep by the Reaper Dust, and remarks about how it was made by the wonderful people of the Lazarus Trust, an organization that sprang up in Laver City not too long ago. Throughout the game, you'll run into Team Reaper grunts here and there, eventually also running into their admins, Dawn, Aran, and their top-ranking admin and de facto leader, Morgan. Eventually, you learn that they're seeking to capture and control a Pokemon powerful enough to control life itself. Their constant Pokemon poaching is a means to fund their endgame, allowing them to develop what they believe to be the proper tools to bring such a creature into their ranks. Of course, most confrontations end up with you either defeating the team on your own or being assisted by your rival and or one of the gym leaders of the town you've most recently arrived to, but every single time, even in defeat, they insist that you've only won a battle and not the war, and that their leader will take care of you soon enough. As they say, it's inevitable. Eventually, after a few more run-ins with Team Reaper, you arrive in Laver City, and you find a young man standing in front of the Pokemon Gym, which, if you didn't know, is located inside of an ancient 1500-year-old tree. The young man, with his blue hair and nice white suit, will marvel at the longevity of the tree and its astonishing will to live, before turning to greet you, and that's when you meet me, Daniel, the founder and president of the Lazarus Trust. I'll remark about how you appear to be a strong, determined trainer full of life, and ask that you not lose that lively demeanor, as you have so much left to see in this world and such limited time to do so. Soon I'll notice that you have one of the gas masks developed by my organization and say how they were developed as a means to counter Team Reaper's so-called Reaper Dust in order to curtail their method of poaching. I'll go on about those awful Team Reaper thugs who poach Pokemon and care nothing for their well-being, but I'll oddly remark about how maybe these thieves are misguided youths, led astray by the temptations of wealth and their own misfortune, and how maybe they could use their talented resources for good, with the right guiding hand. That's when I'll take my leave, inviting you to come visit the Lazarus Trust after you've defeated Valerie and gained the Fairy Badge. You go to visit the Trust, and I welcome you personally, showing you around the building and talking about some of the work the Trust does. The Lazarus Trust is more or less a company that helps improve the quality of life for both people and Pokemon, mainly doing medical research and developing new pharmaceutical products, all with the eventual long-term goal to improve long-term health and extend life expectancy. Soon I take you to my office, and I tell you about some of the history behind the Lazarus Trust. I started the organization after years of traveling and gaining experience as a Pokemon trainer, and making some sound investments, because the thought of people and Pokemon alike having to suffer from injury and sickness deeply saddened me. I wanted to try and improve the quality of life for us all, and thus I gathered some scientific minds and otherwise like-minded individuals and formed the Lazarus Trust to ensure that people and Pokemon alike would live as long and as comfortably as possible. Eventually, you notice a large portrait upon the wall depicting myself, a beautiful young woman, and a small child. Seeing you take notice, I tell you about the people in that portrait. They're my family. My wife and my daughter. They were killed in the events of Pokemon Y after Team Flare's boss Lysandre was defeated, and he fired the ultimate weapon upon himself in Team Flare's secret base in Geosenge Town. And I managed to survive the blast and the aftershock when the weapon's energy came down upon the town. However, my family wasn't so lucky. I go on to say, the Lazarus Trust has done a great many things for many people and many Pokemon, and I'm quite proud of what we've accomplished. I just wish my wife and my little girl could have been here to see what I've been able to achieve. Quickly deciding to change the subject, I put on my best smile and wish you luck on the rest of your Pokemon journey, knowing that the Trust could use someone so full of life like you. Sometime later in your journey, after you've defeated Wolfric in Snowbell City and obtained your Iceberg badge, you meet up with me once again, and I reiterate Team Reaper's end goal about trying to find a Pokemon that could command life itself. I believe the Pokemon they seek is the legendary Pokemon known as Xerneas, a creature who can grant everlasting life. That's what they must be after, because they must think that if Xerneas could grant life, it could also take it away. I go on to say that they must have set up shop somewhere in the winding woods of Route 20 just west of Snowbell, as the legends say that that's where Xerneas lies dormant, though I then quip that such a group probably doesn't have the means to actually find Xerneas in a place like that. After questioning how we ourselves would go about making our way through the ever-changing labyrinth, I noticed your Mega Ring and remarked that your access to Mega Evolution could be the key. After all, the Mega Stones in Kalos were first created when evolutionary stones were irradiated by the power of Xerneas and Yveltal, so your Keystone must still have a strong connection to Xerneas. We make our way through the winding woods, fighting some Team Reaper grunts along the way, as we search for where Xerneas may be, believing it best that we find it in its dormant state before Team Reaper does so that we can protect it. Eventually, in a large, beautiful clearing surrounded by trees, a single ray of sunshine breaks through the foliage above, shining down upon a single spot, and that's when we see it. The dormant, resting form of the legendary Pokemon known as Xerneas. I marvel at the sight, eyes wide, saying aloud how long I've waited for this day, but wondering how it could be awakened from its slumber. We turn around to see a few more Team Reaper grunts along with Dawn and Aran, all led by Morgan. Morgan says that they had spies at Snowbell overhear the conversation about how you could track Xerneas, and they trailed us here so that they could take us out and steal the legendary Pokemon while it was still in its inactive state. You and I team up to defeat Dawn and one of the grunts, and then the team of Aran and Morgan in back-to-back double battles. We've won. We've protected Xerneas from Team Reaper, and yet all of the admins and grunts are smiling. In fact, Morgan busts out laughing at her defeat, asking if you really thought it'd be that easy. She then asks if you're missing something, and to your horror, you discover that you're missing your gas mask item, as Morgan reiterates what Team Reaper kept insisting. Even though you won a small battle, you'll never win the war. And then, you feel a hand from a white sleeve grasp you upon your mouth, forcing you to inhale the all-too-familiar Reaper dust. You feel yourself drift into unconsciousness, slumping under the grass of the clearing. And just before you black out, all you see is me, looking down upon you, and you hear those all-too-familiar words. It's inevitable. Sometime later, you wake up in a dark prison cell underground, presumably underneath the headquarters of Team Reaper. You find yourself surrounded by 8 Team Reaper grunts, who all mock you for being so stupid, and ask you if you're so tough now that they took all of your Pokeballs. Soon after, Reaper admin Dodge joins the party, wearing a big smile on his face, remarking about how you tried so hard to be the hero, but as they kept telling you, you were never going to win the... Suddenly, the doors of the prison bust open, and a few more Team Reaper grunts are blasted backwards into the room. And that's when you realize that all 8 of the Kalos gym leaders have raided the Team Reaper HQ. Karina has her Lucario bust open the door to your cell and return your Pokemon to you, and the gym leaders say that they can take care of the other grunts, allowing you to take on Admin Don. You learn from a defeated Don that I've stilled myself away in my office, on the top floor of the HQ, making my final preparations to go to our second base in Geosenge Town, but then a lot more grunts as well as the other admins are waiting for you along the way. Eventually though, you make your way through the slew of Team Reaper's forces, defeating Aran and Morgan along the way. Finally, at long last, you reach my office and find me. It's only then that I tell you of the true nature of my goals, of Team Reaper, and of the Lazarus Trust. After my wife and child died in the Team Flare incident, I was crushed, devastated. I wondered why I had to live instead of them. No longer wanting to live in the home that would constantly remind me of what I'd lost, I set out on a Pokemon journey, thinking that it would give me renewed purpose. My first Pokemon was an Absol, a Pokemon with the ability to sense forthcoming disaster. Eventually, I built a strong team, defeating gym leaders and leagues and trainers of all manners of strength and skill, but nothing could fill the void in my heart that I felt after losing those closest to me. That is, until I remembered Xerneas, the Pokemon who could grant everlasting life. Xerneas was the key! I took all of my winnings from all those many battles and used my fortune to form the Lazarus Trust. With the remaining money from my previous winnings, and a few ever so convenient test subjects provided by Team Reaper's grunts, who I paid a high price to give us the Pokemon they stole, rather than to some random black market buyer, we at the Trust created a great many products for the public to improve their quality of life, and to extend it, even creating protective tools like the gas mask to combat the very Team Reaper grunts that were on my payroll in order to gain the public's trust. All the while, in secret, my scientists were conducting research that would allow me to harness the power of Xerneas when the time was right. Countless years spent developing new technologies, studying mythos and ancient legends, scouring the whole of Kalos for Xerneas. But because we didn't have Mega Stones, nor access to the power of Mega Evolution, it was to no avail. That is, until you came along. You, with your Mega Ring and Keystone, with their connection to the energies of the legendary Pokemon of Kalos. Your Keystone was the one thing that would allow me to finally find Xerneas, and to achieve my true goal. To use Xerneas to gain immortality for myself, and for my wife and daughter, who I plan to bring back from the dead. At a certain point, I do apologize for having to deceive and betray you, but I knew that if you were aware of my intentions before I had secured the dormant Xerneas, you would try to stop me. And I couldn't allow that. I signal for 5 Team Reaper grunts to enter the room as I make my exit, leaving you to deal with a horde battle against all 5 grunts at once. After you defeat them, you head to the secondary base in Geosenge Town, where you find a laboratory featuring a large glass tube, with Xerneas' dormant form connected to many wires and restraints. You see me there, standing before the creature, before I notice you come in, marveling at your persistence. However, it matters not. You're too late. My scientists are literally about to use their machine to force Xerneas to awaken from its slumber and enter into its active mode when its antlers shine the colors of the rainbow and it shares the power of eternal life. You watch in horror as the machine activates, forcing Xerneas to awake and making its antlers change color, bringing it into active mode. As you go to stop me, Don, Aron, and Morgan block the way, saying that this is what they've been working for, and you wouldn't stop their boss now. You defeat them all one last time in a triple battle, but it's too late. It appears as though Xerneas has granted me the power of immortality. I grin triumphantly, relishing the eternal life that I've been given, and knowing that soon, my family will be given the same gift. Suddenly, the Kalos gym leaders burst in, shocked at what's happening before them, as I tell them they're too late, and not even they could stop me from bringing my family back. Wolfert tries to warn me that, even if I did bring them back, they may come back wrong, but I scoff at the old man, telling him that he wouldn't dare condescend to me if he knew what I'd lost. I'm going to bring my family back, and in doing so, I will solve the world's greatest problem, how to conquer death itself. The people of the world will look upon me as a hero, no, a savior, no, a god. And with the power of Xerneas, no one will ever have to lose their loved ones again. You shouldn't be stopping me. You should be thanking me! And that's when you stand up to me, unafraid of the apparent madman that I've become, challenging me to one last battle. I accept, revealing that the sudden release of Xerneas' power has created a Mega Stone and Keystone for myself out of some evolutionary stones that I had on my person, just in case you would try to stop me. So now I have the power of Mega Evolution as well. And besides, I know there's no way you can beat someone who's essentially already won. My team will consist of Bisharp with the ability Defiant, with the moves Sucker Punch, Iron Head, Knock Off, and Swords Dance, a Gardevoir with the ability Trace, with the moves Psychic, Moonblast, Focus Blast, and Calm Mind, a Gengar with the ability Curse Body, with the moves Hypnosis, Dream Eater, Shadow Ball, and Sludge Bomb, a Dusclops holding Eviolite with the ability Pressure, and the moves Cosmic Power, Will-O-Wisp, Rest, and Shadow Ball, Houndoom with the ability Flash Fire, with the moves Fire Blast, Dark Pulse, Sludge Bomb, and Destiny Bond, and lastly, Mega Absol with the ability Magic Bounce, along with Sucker Punch, Knock Off, Play Rough, and Perish Song. If you can manage to get past my team, I'll balk at the idea, unable to believe that even in my moment of triumph I could still lose. But it matters not, because I still win. I still have Xerneas, and except I don't. During the battle, the Kalos gym leaders cleared out the room and shut down the machine, freeing Xerneas from its bonds. I demand that it help me bring back my family from the dead, but it refuses, knocking me back with a dazzling gleam, before making its exit, never to be seen again. Until the post-game! Enraged, humiliated, and full of sorrow that this was all apparently for nothing, I ask you all if this was worth it. If it was worth keeping me from seeing those that I loved. It doesn't matter what you say anyway. If I can't have my family back, then there's no point in trying anymore. With Xerneas gone and Team Reaper completely quashed, the gym leaders of Kalos turned me over to the International Police, who subsequently seized the assets of the Lazarus Trust and disbanded entirely. As for me, I'm placed in a single cell, all by myself, left alone to contemplate my sins for all of eternity. Or at least until a sequel where I inexplicably escape. Sheesh, you think I could have made this video any longer? So, what do you guys think? Would my evil team be a nice addition to a Kalos sequel? Let me know in the comments below. Also, in case you missed it, I'm finally playing a Generation 4 game, as I've recently begun a Nuzlocke playthrough of Pokemon Platinum. There's a link to the hype trailer in the description below, and that link will be part of a playlist containing every episode that I've uploaded so far. Give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe for more entirely too long Pokemon-based what-if videos in the future. See you next time, Pokemon trainers. Super Nerd Daniel, out!